What is going on, everybody? Quancredible here, and today I'm actually very happy because I actually made my own iced coffee today, and it is really good. But aside from that, chapter 31 of the Four Nights of the Apocalypse. Now, this chapter, honestly, like for me, is one of my I love this chapter so much because the comedy the comedy in this chapter had me laughing through the first and even second read through. If you don't read if you're not a big fan of comedy in your manga all like that, then you probably won't rate this chapter as high as I did. But nonetheless, I feel like everybody can find this enjoyable, in addition to like just a lot of cool stuff happening. Like, this chapter just had so much cool stuff in general. So the chapter does pick up with Hauser versus the Ancient Dragon, doing like all of his patented moves like the Rising Tornado and Super Cyclone. And really, this twister that the Ancient Dragon is in is insanely huge. Like, it's one of those things where immediately I first was getting crazy hype and was like, oh my gosh, Hauser's like crazy strong now. But this is honestly not too out of the realm of what we've kind of already seen Hauser do. Like, even back in the beginning of Seven Deadly Sins, he was able to make giant towers of tornadoes that were this large. So I wouldn't even be surprised if like old Hauser was able to actually beat a dragon like this. But it's funny because Eldon actually didn't even know that Hauser was this strong, but Donnie had always known full well, to the extent of Hauser's power. And then like we get like this amazing shot of Hauser right here after the tornado is done, where the dragon crashes back down, and Hauser's like, oh, like it's just it is a really dope panel. Like, it is a really cool panel. And then after that, this is kind of where like the comedy of the chapter like really kicks in for me, because Percival is absolutely blown away by this. Like, he is like, Holy Knights are so cool. He is like a kid that has just seen Power Rangers for the first time. And it's funny because at first I was kind of confused by this, because I thought Percival would know, but when I think about it, Percival's only real encounter with Holy Knights, or only real knowledge of Holy Knights, is from stories that his grandpa would tell him. He's never actually seen one in action. And it's funny because even though technically Ironside is a Holy Knight or a Chaos Knight, whatever you want to call it, he would see him, like, Percival's so simple and naive, he would see him more as a villain and not really a true Holy Knight. So Hauser would be the actual first time he's seen a Holy Knight in action, and he is just absolutely blown away from it, trying to mimic all of Hauser's moves and that kind of thing. I'm not gonna lie, I really did think that when Percival was just like playing around and dancing, doing like the Rising Tornado and Whirling Shock, that he might accidentally do those moves just because of how his magic works. Like, hero type magic, with Percival's imagination, he could technically recreate these moves if he really wanted to, which is just really funny. I really thought it was gonna happen, similar to when, like, in Dragon Ball, when Goku tried the Kamehameha for the first time, like just after watching Roshi, and he actually did. So I kind of was expecting that kind of thing. Then after that, Percival is asking Hauser, like, is it possible that one day I can be as strong as you? And then Hauser's like, there's a ton of guys stronger than he is. And this is kind of interesting because I feel like in terms of Holy Knights, there probably isn't that many people stronger than Hauser outside of like the Sins. Like, honestly, outside of like characters from other races and like the Seven Deadly Sins. So like, I wonder, are there just regular other Holy Knights now that are just stronger than Hauser? Because I remember in the beginning of Seven Deadly Sins, Gil Thunder was stronger than Hauser, but then midway through, Hauser had surpassed him, at least combat class-wise. So I wonder, did Gil Thunder overtake Hauser again, or is there like a new crop of, Holy Knights that we haven't seen yet that are just much stronger than he is? I'm sure Arthur probably has some Chaos Knights that are stronger than Hauser, so I'm kind of definitely curious to see like more of that realm, because I feel like in Four Nights of Apocalypse, Hauser might be like the gatekeeping character for who is like really strong versus who isn't. But then after that, we do get Nansen's Sin and the Baby Dragon coming back. The Baby Dragon is back to high spirits. It appears to be like back to full health, honestly. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with it at all. And of course, Hauser did not finish off the dragon. I didn't think he would. And this arc is pretty much wrapping up how I thought, and how a lot of other people thought it was going to wrap up, with, Hauser subduing the dragon a little bit, and then the baby dragon coming in. So now everything is going to be okay. because Annie does know, isn't the dragon just going to attack everybody again? To which Hauser is like, you know, all it really wanted was its child. It thought its child was taken, so now that it has its kid, it really has no reason to attack anybody, which is very true. It has literally no reason to attack anybody anymore at this point. It was just a mother who wanted its child. So from here, it does seem like all's well that ends well, but Eldon is trying to walk off. And, you know, Eldon is like, you know, I know I'm a wanted man, so there's no making up for what I've done, so I'm just going to leave. And it's one of those things where he starts going off, and he's like, you know, you guys can arrest me, it doesn't matter, it's not like I could ever. And he was going to say, it's not like he can ever be a holy knight. But before he can finish the sentence, Hauser does, like, he runs up and just blasts him, which is, this panel I feel like isn't supposed to be funny, but just his posture after he got hit made me laugh. Hauser basically does tell him that holy knights don't need magic to just hurt people. It's not about just beating people up, it's about helping people. And he also like thought that Donnie thought that as well, which is actually what I thought Donnie thought as well too, that, you know, he just didn't have the magic type suited. But this is what Eldian thought. But Hauser says he did see him use his magic to help Donnie and the other kids, so, you know, it is possible for him to be a holy knight. And he tells him to get back up so he can train him from scratch. And then Percival and Nansen's together copying Hauser again was just too funny. Because Percival I would expect this from, but Nansen's joining in on it was just like unexpected. And then Hauser being upset by it, like, don't copy me. And this is like, it's just perfect. The comedy in this chapter was just really funny. Then Hauser does apologize to Donnie for, you know, punching him and all that. And Donnie's like, you know, it is okay, I did go AWOL. But then Donnie does clear up something for Hauser and for me as well, is that before Donnie's mom had died, she told him that he needed to live, you know, her share as well. Telling basically this meaning that she wanted him to live enough for both of them. So with this in Donnie's mind, he just didn't want to die for no reason. He didn't want to throw his life away because he felt like he had to live enough for himself and his mother. So he had, I mean, of course, everyone's life is valuable to them, but to Donnie, his life was extremely valuable because he was living for two people. So it makes sense to me. Hopefully I explained that well. But Donnie basically says he wants to be a holy knight for his friends, so, you know, he doesn't mind risking his life now, which is amazing character growth for Donnie. Really good stuff here. And before Hauser does go give him back the piece of the coffin, he basically breaks it down to him saying that, you know, as long as you carry this, Arthur's forces are going to track him down forever. You know, that they're going to fight tooth and nail to get it back. So, you know, this is what you are holding, just so you know. And Donnie is absolutely spooked. He wants no pieces. He wants no pieces or parts of that, which is. It's funny because I really wanted Donnie to get this piece because I felt like it would have helped him out. But the character growth he got out of this arc in general is enough for me. So this is when Percival steps up, and Percival was like, I'll carry it then. And this part I didn't really expect at all. Hauser attaches a blade to the dragon handle just like how it was, but it's not broken, and it's actually a full sword now. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people may have forgotten this or may not remember this, but it was confirmed in you know, in 7 Deadly Sins that Hauser's dad was a blacksmith. So this actually makes 100% perfect sense, and it's crazy that Nakaba even realized this or even remembered this. So Hauser doing this makes a lot of sense. But then Hauser also saying that to look the part of an aspiring holy knight, especially if he's like a prophesized knight, he's going to need a sword. So with that, Hauser does complete attaching a blade to the dragon handle, and this panel looks so dope, like, you know. And it's really important because Percival was right there watching him make this, and it was given to him as a sword. So with Percival, this is really important because he's going to see this as a weapon and not as a knife like the other sword he has. Now, this is kind of weird because I don't know what he's going to do with the Ouroboros. It kind of feels like a waste if he just saves that as like a kitchen utensil. So hopefully the Ouroboros gets some use. Maybe he gives it to Donnie. Maybe that'll be Donnie's weapon. Who knows? But hopefully the Ouroboros isn't just forgotten about, because a sword that grows and shrinks is kind of neat. Or maybe he dual wields. I was talking to Rax the hero very briefly about this, but I feel like that would be a lot. Him to have 2 swords, you know, a dual wielding and hero magic, that is kind of a lot. But to my knowledge, I can't remember anybody who dual wields in 7 Deadly Sins. That's important. If you guys remember anybody, please list them in the comments. I don't remember anybody who dual wields. That is important. But with that, we do get them journeying off to Leonis. It's kind of odd though, because like they leave Hauser there at Kent, and I'm just really confused as to why Hauser isn't accompanying them back to Leonis. That part kind of bothered me a little bit, because it's like,
what the hell is going on?
Why? It's like, why? Like, I feel like Hauser and Eldon should be going back to Leonis. Like maybe they're going to clean up Kant, I guess, or maybe they have unfinished business there, but who knows? I'm just very confused about that one. But at the very, very, very end, there is this fat bird that does, witness all of this, and then this fat bird kind of like flies off into the distance, and I'm not really for sure what this bird could be. It could be a bird for Arthur. It could be a bird for some third party. It's just someone definitely seen this. This wasn't placed here for no reason. Nakaba definitely does stuff like this and then shows it off to us later. So I'm just very curious to know like whose bird this is. My money is on Arthur, to be honest though. But I will say one thing that is very odd to me, or just very curious, is the lack of lines for Sin in this chapter. I guess with them leaving and stuff. If Sin is someone that Hauser would know, they're definitely keeping it a secret, or they're definitely not giving them a chance to interact all like that, because it would definitely come to the forefront at some point. So I'm really starting to think that that Sin is somebody that Hauser does know. I do feel like that some people get tired of me speculating on Sin literally every single chapter, but it's just so curious to me. Like it's just so, it does bother me, not in like a bad way, but in like I'm just a really curious way on who this character is, and I want to know really bad. I definitely do want him to take his time and do whatever setup he has planned, but man, I would be lying if I said I was not extremely curious to know who Sin was. All in all, that is the chapter. Percival now has a weapon. Everything is forgiven with Eldon. Donnie has his resolve reaffirmed. This was just a really good chapter. The ending resolution of everything makes me just really hype. Like Kant, I was very iffy on it in the beginning as far as it being a pit stop, but all in all, I think this mini arc was actually really, really good. This chapter itself, I'm gonna give it like a 8.5, just because the comedy just really carried it. The comedy in Percival like actually getting a sword is really dope to me, so I'm gonna rate it an 8.5. And the arc itself honestly was pretty decent. It was pretty decent. It was definitely shorter than I thought it was going to be, which is good because I didn't want it to be really long, but it was pretty decent all around. So with that, hopefully, moving forward, we are going to get to Leonis pretty soon, even without Hauser's help for whatever reason. That being said, let me know how you guys feel about the chapter down below. I'm just curious to hear you guys' thoughts and how you guys are feeling about, everything going on now with Percival getting his sword, where you guys think this little bird is coming from, just kind of all these things together. So make sure you guys like the video as well as subscribe to the channel for more content. I definitely have tons of videos that I want to keep bringing you guys. Aside from that, you guys all enjoy the rest of your day. I am going to get back to this iced coffee that I made myself, and I'm so proud of this. You guys have no idea, but you guys just enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you all in my next video.